Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on how to use the channels report feature in the AiM Race Studio analysis software. Now this analysis today is going to look at vehicle health. If you happen to have a GPS only device like an AiM Solo, this won't be applicable to you, but look out for later videos because the channel report feature is also very useful if you want to be able to look at driver performance where GPS data can be used. But as said, for today's purpose, we're going to look at vehicle health. And right now in this simple GPS view, you can see that all I have loaded up are GPS longitudinal and a speed trace. This data has been taken from a Formula 4 that has an Evo 4S installation, but any of the AiM devices that capture vehicle components and information such as RPMs, water temperature, oil pressure, to name just a few, this report will be useful for you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the channels report, which is up here in the menu bar, right here. So you can see it's called the channels report feature, and I'm just going to click there. And in all instances, when you turn this on, usually the default that's available to you is GPS speed. Now, I don't necessarily mind that being on in this particular analysis, but we're going to change it and configure it anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on Add Remove, and we're going to look at certain variables which are useful from a vehicle health point of view. And so interestingly, I don't think I need GPS speed on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, and I can click on this arrow and remove it. Or similarly, I can just remove them all that are there using this button at the bottom. I'm going to pick the information that I do want to be able to see. So I need to see RPMs. So I want to see the minimum RPMs and the maximum RPMs. I'd like to be able to see oil pressure. So I want to see minimum oil pressure in particular. That's a very important variable. Plus, let's have the average as well, and then the maximum for that one. Same thing with water temperature. I want to be able to see the minimum. I'd like to see the average, and I'd like to see the maximum. And then the last thing I also want to be able to see on this analysis with the inputs that I have on this configuration is voltage. And so instead of seeing minimum maximum, what I want to be able to see there is average, just to see if there's any variation from lap to lap. And so I'm going to click on that. And once I've selected all of those, now you can do them one by one, but I've done them all in one go. If I click on OK, it's going to change the view now to be able to give me the information that's available to me in terms of the inputs that are coming from the vehicle itself. And so you can see here, I've got an RPM variable that tell me the minimum and the maximum by each of the laps. I can see what the average voltage looks like, oil pressure, and water temperature. So a lot of useful information that's available to me here as part of the channels report. Now, this alone is just configuring and setting it up, and it's useful just to be able to see information that's useful to you. What you can do as well is start using this to be able to identify, are there things that we want to be able to change? And in following videos that you'll see in this series, we're going to look at an oil pressure analysis, and we're going to look at an RPM analysis as well to be able to see if there are things that we want to be able to change based upon the health of the engine. The last thing we're going to show in this initial tutorial on the channels report feature is how to be able to use it for multiple sessions. So what I've actually got here is just one session open. But if I click on the test database and I want to be able to open another couple of sessions, this is from the same vehicle, just test 1, 2, and 3 through that particular session. If I now go back to the channels report feature and I click on the test compare button, now you can see that information across each and every one of the sessions to not only look at progressive information throughout the session, but maybe throughout the day or when you're changing different variables. And so here you can see that I'm able to assess what's happening with the water temperature through the sessions. Is it changing throughout the day? Are there ambient conditions which have changed, such as the air temperature has gone up or gone down? In this instance, it was cold for most of the day. I remember that because I wrote in the notes. It's freezing today. But in essence, a very useful piece of information to be able to share. So you can see that as you go through. Right now, this video is just looking at sort of how to set this up. There are other things you can change depending on what you want to be able to see. Right now, minimums are in blue, maximums are in red, and averages are in green, and it will highlight in blue the highest point on each of the sessions for those particular variables, or when you do test compare across all three. And so that's a useful feature to have, but you can alter and edit that up here in the settings and change how you want to be able to see those particular variables. For me personally, I like the way that it's already set up, and so that's how to use it. Now, hopefully you found this initial video useful. But the recommendation now is to be able to say, okay, let's look at the next couple of videos on oil pressure analysis and RPM analysis to be able to see just how to use the channels report for vehicle health and being able to make decisions as to how to change it. So thanks for watching this initial video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. Please write in the comments if there's anything you didn't like so I can potentially change in the future ones. And don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching.